Surprise visitors were the last thing on my mind. What was meant to be a serene evening unfolded with just me and perhaps one bond that required no words. As I sensed his proximity and caught that second voice drifting from the hallway, it dawned on me that this night had transformed into something shared, and perhaps I welcomed that change. Before we embark on this journey, take a moment to show your support by liking this video and subscribing. It's incredibly fast and contributes to the channel's growth in ways you might not realize. Additionally, you won't want to overlook the upcoming tale. Let us embark on this journey. I arrived seeking tranquility. That's the narrative I crafted for myself, after all. It was envisioned as a getaway, a brief escape by the cliffs nestled in one of the agency's finest top-floor suites, without the constraints of time or obligations, only the gentle breeze. The rhythmic surf and the vastness around me allowed me to release all that I had departed from. But then I spotted them, 3 figures lounging on the terrace as if it were their kingdom. Coats flung carelessly, beverages clutched, whispers soft and leisurely. I was taken aback to find anyone else around, especially not a gathering like that. A transformation occurred the instant our journeys intertwined. Not apprehension, not anxiety, but wonder. I wasn't here to share tales. Not really, I wasn't here to heal. I was here to experience something beyond the void of numbness. As I emerged onto my secluded balcony, a world of possibilities unfolded before me. The gentle breeze playfully tugged at the edge of my wrap, prompting me to adjust it with a nonchalant flick. In the midst of their words, one of them glanced upward. He held my gaze unwavering and intense, as if he possessed a secret about me that was waiting to be unveiled. The rest trailed behind, moving at a more measured pace, their presence less conspicuous, yet their gazes lingered with intent. All eyes remained fixed, captivated by the unfolding scene. That was sufficient. I leaned into the railing, allowing my hair to cascade to one side as the ocean breeze playfully tugged at the hem of my dress. I adjusted my position, allowing the breeze to swirl around me, silent and still, simply existing in the moment. As I began to step back inside, I hesitated, caught between light and darkness, casting a glance over my shoulder to connect with the gaze of the first one who had noticed me. There was no smile, no welcoming gesture, just a gaze that conveyed, "I noticed your action." As I crossed the threshold, the faint yet deliberate sound of the side door closing reached my ears. Soft footsteps trailed behind, gentle on the aged hardwood yet unwavering. The moment I heard the footsteps, I felt a familiar presence behind me, one I recognized without even glancing back. The atmosphere thickened, carrying an unspoken weight. He entered the room, and it felt as though the air had shifted, as if he had always been a part of this scene even before his arrival. "Do you always perform like that?" he inquired. His voice carried a calm depth filled with intrigue, yet devoid of mockery. It was smooth, a gentle inquiry, as if he was still unraveling the layers of my being. I extended my hand toward the glass resting on the table, allowing the wine to dance gracefully within, before savoring a deliberate sip. It all hinges on the occasion. Behind me, the silence grew richer. Filled with a sense of presence not void, but conscious, I placed the glass on the table and pivoted slightly to catch a glimpse of him. He lingered by the door, hands tucked away, his stance, easy and casual, eyes keenly observing. His silence spoke volumes. No words were necessary. As I moved across the room, each step was intentional, the distance between us heavy with unspoken tales that lingered in the air. He remained still, unyielding in his stance, his eyes locked onto mine, unwavering and enigmatic. A subtle curve graced his lips, not entirely a smile, but rather a sign of recognition. As I paused just shy of touching the moment, I allowed it to hang in the air. He took a step forward, unhurried and gentle, perfectly filling the gap I had created, and I welcomed him in. There was no hesitation, no doubt, just a silent acknowledgement that we had ventured into a realm neither of us wished to oppose. As I approached him, he remained steadfast, not flinching an inch. He looked at me with quiet curiosity, a moment of stillness between us, providing nothing but a serene recognition. We glided through the quiet, taking our time until the bed behind him signaled a perfect moment to pause. He remained silent, his hands resting gently beside him, his gaze fixed on mine, not with anticipation, but with a quiet understanding. He remarked, his voice low and a hint of a smile playing at the corner of his mouth. "I didn't expect you to be the one to take charge." I reflected it at a more leisurely pace. I typically don't linger for long. I lingered before him, allowing the moment to unfold naturally. In that moment, I leaned in my fingers lightly, grazing his shoulders, a gesture that felt more like an anchor than a direction. I followed, the contours of his sleeves, a gentle touch, unhurried, just enough to create an atmosphere. He remained still, his stance inviting and unguarded. His breath remained calm, yet I noticed the subtle shift in his shoulders as they relaxed into the touch, almost inviting me to continue. Every movement seemed intentional, like he was carefully observing the moment. A gentle breath, a blink that lingered just a moment longer. Only reactions, and I absorbed them as they unfolded. I savored the moment, allowing the stillness to speak for itself. The atmosphere in the room was calm and focused, as if the outside world had faded away and the future was still unwritten, capturing the essence of the moment perfectly. Then, gradually, he raised one hand not to lead or dominate, but to reflect my actions. He held his hand out, a gentle gesture without pressure. Yet I allowed mine to encounter it gently on equal terms. I leaned in slightly, just enough to convey my presence, allowing him to sense my commitment to this journey moment by moment without haste or pressure, simply attuning to a silent cadence that needed no words between us. He gazed at me with a serene focus, his tone dropping as he finally remarked, "You're not making this easy, are you?" A gentle smile graced my lips once more. What would be the reason for that? The air enveloped me, a palpable presence that was anything but burdensome. It was a shared focus, a rhythm in sync, a moment of stillness. I moved slightly, creating a delicate haze between us, small yet purposeful. His fingers grazed the edge of the cushion beneath him, remaining still, lingering in anticipation. Suddenly, a voice emerged from behind me, cutting through the quiet, steady, and known, drawing nearer than I had anticipated. "It seems you jumped right in without a warm greeting, didn't you?" I hesitated before looking back. The second voice wrapped around me, familiar and soothing, resonating closer than I had anticipated. Then emerged another sound, a stirring multiple figures in motion, a chair gliding footsteps, soft yet purposeful, approaching closer. They were arriving, every single one of them. I remained motionless, allowing the experience to unfold in its own way. With a shift to my left, I felt a presence lingering just behind me. Their presence filled the room, calm and attentive, without any spoken word. No one made a move, not yet, but I sensed it. Their attention, their control, the manner in which they allowed the quiet to hold significance rather than hurrying to break it. I shifted just a bit, locking eyes with the first one. It was unwavering, firmly rooted. He wasn't waiting for a cue, he was deciphering my every thought. Behind him, another lingered silently, hands tucked into his jacket, his gaze locked onto mine as if the world around us had faded away. The room lingered in a quiet pause, not rigid but delicately poised in time. One of them extended a hand, not to grasp or direct, but in a gentle, lingering motion, hovering just beneath my chin for a moment, then pulling back, a silent acknowledgement, a moment of connection. I remained silent, standing my ground. I acted not for the sake of show, nor to gain admiration, but because it was my intention. I moved in a little closer, allowing my hand to glide along one arm near a shoulder, across a sleeve. Just enough touch to sense their calmness, just enough to confirm that I was intentionally embracing every moment of this experience. They allowed the moments to unfold naturally without any interruptions or pressure. One of them stood nearby, close enough to be present, but never crossing boundaries, close enough to feel the warmth, yet never making contact, a silent invitation. The other observed intently, their breath-calming eyes following every subtle shift I made. I faced the first, near yet still distant. He remained quiet, refraining from questions or conclusions. As I turned once more, the second one grasped my hand for a fleeting moment, anchoring me before releasing their hold. Every shift transformed the atmosphere, redirecting attention and creating a new narrative. A soft laugh escaped the lips of someone nearby. She sets the pace and they all move in sync with me, every single one of them. I eased my pace further, deliberately, allowing the moment to deepen. Not with tension, but with understanding. Each step I took was uniquely my own, while every reaction belonged to them. They opened up, creating a path, and I glided through it as if it were my rightful place. I wasn't engulfed. I was steering the ship precisely in the place I intended to be. It's hard to pinpoint the moment when everything shifted. Perhaps it was my action, or perhaps it was a silent understanding between us, a connection that felt natural and unforced. What I recall is the quiet, being pierced not by noise but through intimacy. There's no need to hurry, no pressing matters, just a gentle transition. One of them stepped forward, composed and assured as if he possessed an innate understanding of my unspoken desires. I approached him, my hand resting on his chest, not to halt his movement, but to find my own balance. The comforting sensation under my hand provided a sense of stability. We glided in unison, each movement deliberate and harmonious, as if we were two parts of a single narrative flowing effortlessly without the need for direction. Behind me, another approached silently, yet with intention. He bided his time until the moment was right for him to enter. There was a quiet transformation in the atmosphere, a feeling that preceded the sight itself. A hand grazed against mine while another made contact with my arm. Each action was intentional, each bond was subtle. In that moment, everything flowed seamlessly, a perfect harmony without the chaos of rivalry or haste. I wandered at my own pace, selecting my desires as they came to me. They walked alongside me, not to lead, but to keep pace, offering their support. A gentle murmur brushed against my ear, elusive yet intimate, leaving a tingling sensation in its wake. A gentle hand rested on my back, a quiet assurance that companionship was by my side. The room always exuded a sense of completeness, never overwhelming but rather embracing. He offered his hand again, a symbol of support and connection, a reassuring presence by my side. There was a quiet closeness, respectful and steady, as if echoing a mutual understanding. None of it guided me, all of it embraced me. I offered what I felt was right and accepted what I deemed necessary. Nothing more, nothing less. At one moment, I shut my eyes, not to shut anything out, but to embrace everything, the cadence, the calmness, the subtle energy that connected us. It was neither severe nor overbearing. It simply struck a harmonious chord. They danced around me, alongside me, allowing me to take the lead, connecting with me. At every turn I made, I found myself at the heart of everything steady and secure, not feeling overwhelmed, but rather exactly where I was destined to be. Imagine being the person they sought out in times of need. In a situation like this, would you stand firm or take a step into the unknown? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm eager to hear from you all. And if this resonated with you, be sure to show your support by liking, subscribing, and turning on notifications so you can join us for the next unfolding adventure. Thank you for joining us on this journey.